On the news, Lassa fever death toll climbs as Taraba records 4 new deaths. Court sentences Miriam Sanda to death by hanging over husband's murder. And coronavirus spreads through Cambodia as Chinese man becomes first casualty. Many thanks for joining us on News Now on TV360. 4 persons have died from the Lassa fever outbreak in Taraba State, bringing the overall death toll to 33. The State Commissioner of Health, Innocent Bakai, who announced the development, said the ministry has recorded 15 suspected cases, with only 5 found to be positive. He added that the dead were among the 5 patients who tested positive. The commissioner also announced that the state government has activated its surveillance system to detect and treat confirmed cases. Meanwhile, 7 doctors and 5 nurses have been at the Federal Medical Center, Yola, Adamawa State. The doctors were quarantined after making contact with a patient diagnosed with Lassa fever. To judicial matters now, a federal high court in Abuja has sentenced Miriam Sanda to death by hanging over the murder of her husband. Sanda, who stabbed her husband to death in 2017, has been on trial for the past 3 years. The court, however, ordered that she be remanded in Suleja Correctional Facility until she exhausts her option to appeal. Reacting to the court's verdict, the prosecuting counsel appealed to the court's judgment, saying justice has been served.
The long arm of the law have actually caught up with the offender. We say that the blood of the victim of crime is calling to the heaven and praying for vengeance. It is the responsibility of the police as well as the justice of the state to ensure that this vengeance is being carried out. So we appreciate court for such a judgment and look at the space of time in which you carry out this prosecution. It was actually diligent and consistent. And I equally appreciate you members of the media for your consistency. Your little effort have actually helped in the due conclusion of this case.
The truth of the matter is that law has nothing to do with sentiments. If you go through the facts of this very case, it is vivid that the justice of the matter was actually served on the accused. And that is just the truth. Nothing can be done about it. She, from the circumstantial evidence, killed the husband. There is no way she can dispel that very fact.
Meanwhile, the Federal High Court in Abuja has granted bail to former lawmaker Shehu Sani, accused of bribery. The former lawmaker, arraigned by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC), is standing trial on 2 counts of bribery and advance fee fraud. He has pleaded not guilty to the charges. Ruling on his bail application on Monday, Justice Inyang Eko granted Sani bail in the sum of 10 million naira and a surety with landed property within the court's jurisdiction. Addressing journalists after the trial, Sani and his counsel maintained his innocence, stressing that he will be vindicated.
This is political, sorry, and I fully assure you that this court we will establish our innocence. This is a classic and clear case of political persecution. Okay. And we will establish our innocence in this place.
Please, sorry.
And I thank you all for the support.
Well, we know they arraigned Shehu Sani today, and we quickly filed his application for bail. And the court had us, and he has admitted him to bail. And the more important thing is that it's for the shorties for the bail conditions to be perfected, which for us, it's okay. The bail conditions are liberal enough, and as a matter of fact, he's ready to face his trial, and we'll prove that all the allegations that are put in are just trumped up. We don't know whatever the ACC is after, but at the right time, a lot of things will come out.
The Nigerian Senate will be taking on critical national issues this year, some of which will include a review of the 1999 Constitution, security, economy, and revenue generation. Senate President Lawan Ahmed revealed this in Abuja on Monday while addressing members of the Senate press corps in Abuja. Tunji Oye now reports.
After being presented a card on its 61st birthday by the Senate press corps, President of the Senate Ahmed Lawan spoke extensively on the agenda of the Senate for the year 2020. Top of the agenda include national security, revenue generation, and the petroleum industry bill, the PIB bill. The President of the Senate agrees that the year 2019 was quite challenging for the country, and there are critical national concerns that need to be addressed.
Most importantly here is to look into the issue of security that is bedeviling this country. Apparently and obviously, all hands must be on deck to ensure that we bring back a better security situation like we had before. So we just cannot play politics with this. Lives are at stake, and therefore the Senate will take a very definite position on how security in this country should be. The PIB that has defied passage, we want to break that jinx. Whatever the mystery, we are determined to ensure that we pass the PIB before the end of this year by the grace of God. The PIB is so important because until you are able to pass that bill or bills, whichever happens, you cannot attract investments into the oil and gas industry. In the last 10 years, there has not been any investment in the oil and gas sector in Nigeria.
Lawal said the time is now for the Constitution to be reviewed again to address some of these issues. He promised that the budget implementation will be closely monitored by the lawmakers.
We are going to continuously engage the MDS, the ministries, departments and agencies in oversight functions. We in fact want to introduce presentation of oversight reports in plenary, and where the entire Senate needs to take a position or a direction to support or improve performances, we will do so. And I believe that we are going to engage the revenue generating agencies so much and so continuously for the whole year. You know that the implementation of the 2020 budget will depend largely on the revenue we are able to generate and collect. Therefore, the performance, optimum performance of the revenue generating agencies will be critical here. We are going to engage with the revenue generating agencies on a quarterly basis.
With this highlight of the Senate for 2020 explained by the President of the Senate, it is expected that these critical national issues will be addressed by the lawmakers in the overall interest of the country. From Abuja, Tunji Oye, TV360 News.
To politics now, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has declared the Osu-Osu-Oru East Federal Constituency supplementary election in Imo State inconclusive. Returning officer in the election, Greg Obiemalu, said the decision was taken as a result of violence recorded at the collation center. Meanwhile, the Imo State Police Command has launched a full-scale investigation into the killing of the 2019 candidate of Action Alliance in Imo State, the North Senatorial District, Ndubisi Emenike. The politician Otodwa was shot dead by an operative of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps during a victory party for the All Progressives Congress in Okigwe North Federal Constituency of Imo State held on Saturday. The APC candidate Miriam Onoha was returned elected by INEC, defeating the incumbent Obinna Onwaburari of the People's Democratic Party. Still on Imo State politics, Charles Ezekwem, chairman of the People's Democratic Party in the state, has resigned from his role as chairman and member of the PDP in Imo. In a letter dated January 25th on Monday and addressed to the national chairman of the PDP, Ezekwem said he had resigned after consulting his family members and supporters across the state. The letter of resignation was copied to the state publicity secretary of the party, the chairman of the party in Okigwe local government area, and his ward chairman, Urban Ward 11, Okigwe LGA. Ezekwem thanks the Thimin population of Imo PDP for electing him as their state chairman and the PDP and the party for their support and the opportunity to serve. News making rounds, however, says Ezekwem's resignation could be to defect to the All Progressives Congress, but he's yet to affirm or deny the reports. The Lagos state government has banned the activities of commercial motorcycles, popularly called Okada, and tricycles, popularly known as Keke Napep, in some local government areas, bridges and highways in the state. Senior Special Assistant on New Media to Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, Jibril Gawat, announced this via a tweet on Monday. Gawat said the ban also includes operators of e-hailing motorcycle services, OPay, GoKada and Max. Among the 15 local government and local council development centers affected are Apapa Igomu, Lagos Mainland, Yaba, Surulere, Itire Ikate, Koka Aguda, Etiosa, Lagos Island, Ikeja Onigbongo, Ojodu Ikoyi Obalende, Iru Ikoyi Obalende, and Lagos Island East. The government said the full enforcement of the ban will commence on February 1st, 2020. The national body of the Christian Association of Nigeria, CAN, has blamed the murder of chairman of CAN in Michika's local government area of Adamawa State, Lawan Andimi, on the alleged poor response to his abduction by the federal government. However, another Christian group in Lagos, United Christian Forum of Nigeria, UCFN, has condemned the association's outburst, saying the Christian body should rather back the federal government with prayers instead of condemnation. This next report has more.
The federal government had come under fire last week when the Christian Association of Nigeria, CAN, accused it of complicity with the Boko Haram sect to persecute Christians. The accusations came in the wake of the execution of CAN chairman of Michiko local government area of Adamawa State, Lawan Andimi, by the Boko Haram sect.
It is reprehensible and saddening that each time the government comes out to claim the defeat of the insurgency, more killings of our people are committed. In the light of the current developments and the circumstantial facts surrounding the prevailing upsurge of attacks against the church, it will be difficult for us to believe that the federal government under the present administration is not colluding with the insurgents to exterminate Christians in Nigeria. We are not disputing the fact that some Muslims have been killed, as I said. However, we boldly state here that their primary targets are Christians.
It, however, seems not all Christians share this perspective. The United Christian Forum of Nigeria, UCFN, at this press conference, rejected the claims of the CAN chairman.
USFN finds the latest statement by CAN, which is Director of Legal and Public Affairs, Kwamko Samuel Vondip, signed on behalf of CAN National President Reverend Samson Ayokunle, and indeed previous such public statements on the menace of insecurity in Nigeria, very nascent, insitting and illogical in the strictest terms of it. We found it extremely unreasonable and repulsive for CAN to have manifested its partisan toga by freely canvassing for the sack of service and security chief. This odd proceeding was laced in the pedestrian argument that its composition is steeped in ethnic and religious lopsidedness. It is shameful to argue issue of insecurity in this manner, as postulated by the CAN leadership. There is no need for CAN to continue to posture as hunting Mr. President.
Agbaje urged Christians to unite and support the federal government with prayers to move the nation forward.
This is the time we need to hand over the tribulation in our land to the omnipotent God. The devil forces which have besieged us and feasting on our blood cannot overpower the invincible God, whose armors are greater than any other weapon manufactured by man.
In December, Boko Haram-affiliated ISWAP sect executed 9 Christians who were abducted from the northeast. Weeks later, the group killed Lawan Andimi in the middle of negotiations with the federal government. President Muhammadu Buhari has severally condemned the killings, vowing to make the insurgents pay dearly for their actions. Abisola Adebayo, TV360, Lagos.
A federal government delegation sent to understudy the strategy used by the Japanese government to overcome damages caused by the World War II have been speaking on their findings. At a press conference in Abuja, members of the delegation said Nigeria has the potential to overcome challenges caused by insurgency if the menace of corruption and indiscipline can be addressed. The federal government is hoping to adopt that strategy to rebuild Nigeria's northeast, which has been ravaged by the Boko Haram insurgency since 2009.
And today we are collectively stepping down these lessons we learned to some of our community members, especially the community development officers from our local communities, including the Japan team, the JICA team, and UNDP team here in Abuja, so that we will make best use of the lessons learned in the recovery process of Japan. So I think this meeting is very key. It will help our communities, it will help our state as we recover and come out stronger from the conflict of Boko Haram and other insurgency.
We think that kind of the sharing of experiences that might help those officials because I believe that our experience might help. So that kind of sharing experiences, the capacity building, would be the something that we can do.
We have arable land, we have mineral resources, and then we have the brain as well, The only thing that, is hampering Nigeria is, I'm sorry to say, there is a level of indiscipline and corruption. If only we can be able to overcome these two things, Japan, we can go beyond Japan.
The Chinese community in Nigeria gathered over the weekend to celebrate the start of a new year. The fair, which had dozens of Nigerians in attendance, featured Chinese cultural performances, fireworks and games. There's more in this next report.
It's the first time the Chinese Spring Festival is being celebrated in Nigeria. Adorned with popular Chinese arts and decorations, the Teslim Balogun Stadium is transformed into a small Chinatown, and the presence of hundreds of Chinese nationals completes the look. The event, organized by the Nigeria Huaxin Art Group with the support of the Chinese consulate in Lagos, marks the start of a new year in accordance with the Chinese lunar calendar. And what's a new year without resolutions? Top on the Chinese government's agenda for the year 2020 is to eradicate poverty and strengthen bilateral relations.
In 2020, we are going to welcome a lot of Chinese investors coming to Nigeria because the year of 2020 marks the 20th anniversary of the establishment of FOCAC. So with the framework of FOCAC and Belt and Road Initiative, China and Nigeria will do a lot of things. China will help Nigeria to alleviate poverty. At the same time, China at home will do its best to completely alleviate poverty. So that means by the end of the year of 2020, not a single person in China will live under the poverty line.
China is considered one of Nigeria's closest allies, with Lagos State at the center of this booming relationship. In 2019, the Lagos and Chinese government signed a series of agreements, including a $629 million financing facility to accelerate the building of the Lekki deep sea port. In the new year, the state government says it's looking forward to even bigger deals with the Asian country.
Lagos is always open to businesses, is open to all of you. We have several of you that we're currently doing businesses with. We have several of you that we're collaborating with. But we believe we can take those collaborations, we can take them to another level.
With the festival officially declared open, revelers were treated to a plethora of Chinese cuisines, performances, and even fireworks. Thrilled by this display of art and culture is Tong Tong and Eric Mung, who say it's made them feel closer to home.
In China, we really have the tradition, like people gathering around like in the first day of the new year to celebrate, to get together, and also to worship for the new year. And today we're here. Even I'm in Nigeria, a foreign country for me, but I still feel like sometimes I'm home.
The holiday is very good for us, for Chinese unit, very important.
The festival is very important to us in China.
Chinese community today in Lagos, in Nigeria,
and I'm happy it is being celebrated in Nigeria.
So we never start for this canteen like to celebrate the Chinese New Year. So we are today.
Because we are one people with similar values.
And this between China and Nigeria culture, we are shared together for our own love. Yeah.
Celebrations to usher in the new year, tagged Year of the Mouse, is expected to continue for the next 22 days. Fidelia Aguncha, TV360, Lagos.
You're still watching news now on TV360. We'll be right back with more. You're welcome to the business side of the news. We see the federal government boosting her aviation infrastructure with key investment. And we have Onyi Adekunle with more.
Well, thank you very much, Aneta. The federal government has acquired a Boeing 737 training simulator and 6 aircraft for the Nigerian College of Aviation Technology, NCAT, in Zaria. Minister of Aviation Hadi Sirika says the acquisition will increase NCAT's capability, save forex, and reduce costs incurred by airlines. Last year, the college placed orders for some aircraft to enhance training of pilots. According to the minister, the 6 aircraft would be delivered in the next 3 weeks. We'll now take a short break here and return with stock market review. Please stay tuned. Profit taken by investors dragged down equities trading on the NSE today. The market reversed previous gains as the all-share index dipped by 0.26% to close at 29,552 basis points. Sell-offs were recorded in the equities of Unilever, and that resulted in a loss of ₦1.75. The share price of Julius Berger also slipped by ₦1.35 to close at ₦20.15 today. Also, we see Zenith Bank and Eternal also contributed to the downturn that ended the successive gains in the equities markets today. But in spite of this sell-off, shares of shares of Okomo Oil Index gained ₦2 to lead the gainer stable. Nigeria breweries also rode on the back of price appreciation to the tune of ₦2 from 52 naira. Nigeria breweries shares closed today at 54 naira. Vitafoam and NACO also completed the list of 4 gainers with a combined increase of 54 kobo. Activity level today was mixed as the volume traded rose from 184.5 million to 444 million units of shares today, while the unit of trade fell slightly from 3.5 billion naira in previous session to 3.3 billion naira today. And moving on to the foreign scene, foreign markets fared quite poorly today. We can see that shares plunged as fears of coronavirus rattles major markets. FTSE, Dow Jones and Nikkei are all in panic mode, closing in the reds today. And that's it from here. It's back to you, Aneta.
Yes, updates here on the latest coronavirus in Cambodia. That's been the latest country to confirm the case of the flu-like virus around the world. Cambodia's health minister says the patient is a 60-year-old Chinese man who had flown directly from Wuhan to Sinakoville on January 23rd, showing symptoms of the illness. The infected man is undergoing treatment at a hospital and is said to be in stable condition. Wuhan is the epicenter of the coronavirus that has killed 81 people, all in China, and infected 2,744 others. Over 10 countries, mostly in Asia, have also reported cases. Authorities believe the virus likely spread into the human population from an infected animal at a market in Wuhan. Officials have confirmed that the virus has been transmitted person to person, and most virtually all cases thus far have been traced back to Wuhan. Nigeria will be competing in the singles and mixed doubles tickets at the African Olympic qualifying tournament holding between February 27th and 29th in Tunis, Tunisia. The country had failed to secure qualification for the team event of table tennis in the Tokyo 2020 Olympics at the just-ended World Team Qualifying Tournament in Portugal. The qualification event in Tunisia is the final qualifying window for African teams and players to compete at the Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games. 2 players each in men and women's category from each African association will contest in the singles, while 1 pair from each country will compete for Africa's sole slot in the mixed doubles event. The top 4 semi-finalists in the singles men and women will qualify for Tokyo 2020, while the winner in the mixed doubles event will pick the African sole slot for Tokyo 2020. And that's it on News Now on TV360 Nigeria. I am Aneta Felix. Thanks for watching.